Eat it with a passion. What do you bring to the table? Drop it.
Oh yeah.
Hello guys. It has been a while since we've done like a little sit down video and talking or answering questions. My last video I believe that I did, the whole video didn't get uploaded, so we're gonna try this again. So I think today I'm just going to go off of topics that I've been thinking about. I'm just gonna talk about things that have been on my mind recently, and you guys can chime in the comment section down below. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you guys are subscribed down below. Please do not forget, go ahead and subscribe right now while I gather myself together, and that way you have enough time to subscribe and tune into the video. Now that we got housekeeping out the way, let's go ahead and jump into this video. So guys, I want to do like a simple makeup, but yeah, it's gonna be simple. It's not gonna be all that. I already done my skincare. I'm gonna go ahead and prime before I do my eyebrows. I've been loving the e.l.f. the Power Grip primer. This primer right here, I don't know. This would be the very first primer that I actually finish. So I am gonna apply this directly onto my face. And what I've been doing lately, as far as applying this, is I do not rub it in with my hands anymore. I've been going in with a brush. My girl Richie, Touched by RTB, does that, and I really like that. I kind of feel that using my fingers takes away the primer off of my face, so I've been using this brush, this little flat brush, and just pretty much fanning it into my face. I think I put a little too much, but just been pretty much fanning it into my face. Do not be weary if you guys see like a cast underneath. My sunscreen obviously didn't set in, but there's not going to be much of a problem with that, to be honest. I am going to allow this to dry down a bit while I do my brows. Do not worry about the sunscreen cast underneath. I didn't allow my sunscreen to sit that long. But anywho, we're going to go ahead and jump into brows. I am going to use my favorite. This is like my third container of this thing. This is a NYX brow glue. I won't say brow gel, but brow glue, sorry. And I do get a pretty good amount. And what I do, you have to be very careful with this. Truly and honestly, you really have to be careful with this. Is what I do with it is I take this brush, I swipe this way with it first. That way I can get all the hairs. And then I go with the other side of the brush, so the part that I didn't use to swipe over, I go in and I brush upwards with it. I've seen much of a difference of my brows staying than me going directly in to brush them up. So I do that. So go into your brow gel, deep into that thing. Then you're going to, hold on. Take your brow gel and you're going to swipe from back, and then you swipe upwards. And I'll be being a beauty influencer. Anywho, I just know this works for me. It allows my brows to stay and like actually like glue down. Because before I was going straight in and brushing them up and they would act very unruly, and so I had to like figure out another way, and I just thought this was super, I don't know, I just did it and it came out really good. So we're gonna do that. One brow, it is a little bit more fuller than the other one, so I don't really have to, in certain areas they are a little bit more fuller than the other one, so it is a little not confusing, but it is a little tricky on how to fill them out to make them look the same. All right, so I'm just gonna go back in, and so our brows are brushed up, so we have that done. And I've low-key been liking the very minimal brow look, so I'm gonna quickly do my brows. Going with a flat brush, a flat angled brush. I like to use this. This is from Morphe. I just kind of curve it out how I want it to look. So I'm going to use the e.l.f. ultra precise brow pencil. This is in neutral brown. Is it neutral brown? Yeah, neutral brown. I prefer this. It just makes my brows look all together, and I'm just going to use this to kind of line underneath my brow and fill them in. Brows are not done, but they've been started. All right, y'all. So I'm just gonna quickly blend out the concealer at the bottom, kind of give it that very just natural-esque look. I'm just gonna blend this bad boy out, blend this bad boy out. All right, so let's get to talking, guys. So I don't know if you guys, well, I hope you guys have watched my previous videos, but your girl recently turned 25, the big 25, yes. It was actually my golden birthday, so I turned 25 on the 25th. If you guys have not already seen that video, I recommend you guys go see it because definitely a good time, and I enjoyed editing that vlog. As of lately, my birthdays have been, I don't know, I've been wanting them to be a little bit more intimate, and this by far has been the best birthday to date. I had an amazing time at karaoke. The photo shoot was really fun. Even though I'm still learning how to get out of my comfort zone and take compliments and all that, I really had a good time. Thank you, Steph. Thank you, So Into You Studios, for, you know, having me there. Well, obviously I booked you guys, but you know, just having me there and making me feel comfortable and truly just capturing my 25th birthday. And I was kind of reflecting the other day about like how much I've changed, or the things that I used to think about, or the way I used to think about certain things, how they've low-key changed, you know. Definitely since the pandemic, I've been viewing things a bit differently, and you know, the things I used to think were like sunshine and rainbows, I still think they are sunshine and rainbows, but they're not as, it wasn't as surface level as I used to think about them. And it really just had me thinking like, wow, I've definitely changed from being 20 to 25. You know, when I was 20, honestly, I don't remember what I was doing when I was 20. When I was 20, I was still an undergrad, obviously, and here I am now, a whole graduate student, you know, working towards my dream, which is becoming a counselor, and just seeing that, like, how much I've been blossoming, and certain things I used to think about or say, I don't really say anymore, learning how to heal. And one of the main things that, like, back then I was always like, oh, I just want to look like a certain way and dress a certain way, and you know, be like this, do like that, you know, doing a lot of comparison on Instagram and just not being my true self. And it took me a while, and I'm still learning. There's still some times where I do have to catch myself and be like, hey, Nate, like, no, we can't do that. There's still some times that I have to catch myself, but I think overall, I've definitely, I know for a fact the views that I had when I was 20 to me having them now are completely different. I'm going in with some foundation. I'm actually testing out the NARS Longwear Radiant Foundation. This is in the shade Macao. I feel like Macao is definitely a universal shade because I've seen so many girls who don't look like me use this shade and it works perfectly. Like, it just works amazing for them. So getting back to what I was talking about, I've definitely changed a lot of views, and one of those views is on how I dress. And so I'm gonna say what I'm about to talk about, I do feel that there's like a negative connotation to it, and the word that I'm talking about is modesty. And I've been thinking as of like lately, just like when I order clothes and you know, what am I looking for and how do I want to be perceived and what makes me feel comfortable, I just think about like still looking, at first I used to think like, oh, the dress that exposes a lot more. I used to be like, oh, that's super cute, but I didn't grow up in that way of like, oh, that's what you wear. You know, I grew up religious. I grew up in a community where it's like, you don't really do that. you do that, you keep that for the comfort of your home, but when you're outside, you make sure you cover up, especially like your common areas like your chest, your, you know, your downstairs, you know, you keep that for yourself and for whoever you're about to be with. So lately I've really been thinking about like, okay, how do I want to present myself, especially through my clothes? Like what do I want to say when I'm wearing my clothes? And the topic of modesty came up. I've actually spoke about this with a couple of friends, and I do believe that people think modesty as like, oh, you have to wear, you know, ankle long skirts and dresses and wear a turtleneck and cover up every bits of your body. And for me, I do not think modesty is that. I don't think modesty, my modesty is not that modesty. I do believe that the way people think about it, especially with, you know, you have cultures of like Amish and, you know, Orthodox Jews, and, you know, you have it geared towards a lot of religious like sectors and stuff like that. So like for me, I grew up SDA, and for that it was like you know, women don't wear pants to church, or, you know, some people truly believe women don't wear pants at all. And, you know, luckily for my upbringing, that wasn't a big thing. Like, we could wear pants to, you know, school and stuff like that, but it was, you couldn't wear pants to church. And that's still a topic that I'm going to look more into and, you know, have a little Bible study about. But it just made me really think about, like, you know, what does modesty mean to me? And I don't have a solid definition, but the way I kind of view modesty, I think it's a way of presenting yourself. And I do think that there is an aspect of obviously not exposing too much of your body, but I do think that there is a way to be sexy about it. I don't think modesty is like a full-on like, oh, you have to be nunnish and you have to pretty much cover head to toe, put a veil over your head, and don't show anybody your eyes. Literally, the reason why I was really thinking long and hard about this, because one girl that I watch, her name is Tomia Radia, and if you guys know, recently she actually decided to be a full hijabi. And I do not want to offend anybody, so I don't know all the technical terms, but she recently decided that she is going to wear a hijab full time. And it had me thinking, like, you know, lately I've been seeing more, like, even another influencer or content creator that I watch is Lana Deb, or Deb, I think that's how you say her last name. But even her, you know, she decided to be, you know, cover up more. And it just had me thinking, like, me as a Christian woman, you know, what does my walk look like? And I know that everyone has like their own, for them, it was like a spiritual awakening. It was like, for them, it just made them closer to the religion. And for me, I started thinking about stuff like that. And I started thinking about, you know, how do I present myself? You know, how am I representing God through my clothing? And it just had me thinking really, really long and hard, like, okay, like, I do feel more sexier when I am having something that's simple, not over the top, but still is like, still covering myself, but still looking good. I want to take out the stigma of modesty being negative and being like, oh, I can't be my true self. I still think you can be modest and still present yourself through your clothing. Even when I've been purchasing clothing, I've been thinking about, okay, what is this going to look like on me? And is this something that I'm going to feel comfortable in? And is it something that's going to represent God? For example, right? So you guys know I go to the gym. I go to the gym about like 4 to 5 times a week. And, you know, I would always be like, oh, I'm gonna wear a sports bra, you know, leggings, you know, and not to say that combination is bad. I do think it's cute. I do think it's, you know, it's a really, like, I don't mind, you know, wearing a sports bra and, you know, wearing, you know, leggings. And there were times where my mom would be like, oh, you know, wear a little jacket over you. And I'm like, no, girl, like, I'm not gonna wear a jacket over me. Leave me alone. I realized when I sat down and really thought about, you know, why am I doing what I'm doing? And I was looking for validation. And I was looking for validation of like, oh, she looks good, you know? And I had to really think, like, what am I, like, why do I want that validation? And there are deeper things of why I want that validation, but I had to really think, like, okay, you can still wear these things, and there's nothing wrong with wearing a sports bra and leggings to gym, you know? But for me, and there was, like, I was 50-50 where I wanted somebody to be like, oh, she looks good, but then I was also subconscious of, like, how I looked. So as of lately, I have like purchased things that do still allow me to show off my figure without really showing off my figure. For example, I recently brought these workout tops and I love them. I love the look. I love the way it looks like on me. It's still slim fit, but it still covers up, you know, my insecurities or the things that I'm not too proud of, you know? So that's the certain things that I've been thinking about. And even with me ordering clothes like through, you know, different vendors, I think about how will this make me feel a month from now or 2 months from now. It's not like a, oh, just for the moment type of outfit, or is it a forever outfit in a sense, you know? So I've just been thinking about that, and I do think modesty is something that's going to be personal. Everyone's definition of modesty will be different. You know, my definition of modesty, being able to showcase myself through the image of God, but also like, you know, it can have a form of being sexy in there too. And I've just been really just not gun-ho, but I've really been low-key shifting. So the way I grew up, that was never the case. You know, we would always make sure that we had things that, like, you know, sweaters, and, you know, you wore undershirts, and, you know, there was no like revealing, because that is truly sacred for whoever you're going to be with. And I truly do believe that. Now, do I still, you know, I'm still working on my wardrobe and getting it to where I want it to be, but I think there is something very sexy about being modest. And I will do my Bible study on like what it truly means to be modest, especially in a sense of like what that looks like in God's eyes. I want to do my own Bible study on what does modesty look like, especially as you're representing God, and, you know, what that may look like in the world and how I can go about that. I do feel like modesty has like a physical aspect and a spiritual aspect, and I definitely want to dive deep into that. If anybody has like any verses or chapters or anything like that, and anyone that knows anybody that has done a study on it, definitely let me know, because I would definitely be interested in reading and really truly find the answers. Of course, I'm going to pray to God and, you know, ask him to reveal answers to me on what that may look like and how I can go about it. But yeah, so I just want to talk about that. And another thing that that my viewpoint has changed is definitely on the whole like familial aspect, as far as like family and marriage and dating. You guys know the state of the dating world is trash. I don't want to offend anybody, but it's trash. You guys know it's trash. It's been going on since, I don't know. I think the pandemic definitely shifted us, but it's low-key has been going on even way before the pandemic, and it's been tough out here. It has been tough. You know, I don't want to say I've been actively single these last 4 years, but I've been single these last 4 years, give or take. And, you know, I was talking to my friend, and, you know, one of my friends asked, like, okay, like, are you ready? And it's like, I've always been ready. Like, not always been ready, but these last, like, year or so, I definitely feel like I've been ready to date and be in a relationship. But I also feel that the way society, the way society pinpoints like marriage and relationships is more so like, what can you do for me, instead of what can we do for each other. You know, it's been very much so a lot of, oh, but I want this, and, you know, you should give me this, and this, that, and it's like, what? How can we work together? But it's been just a lot of like, what can you do for me, instead of how can we build together. And one of the questions that I hate the most, I hate it with a passion, is the question,
what do you bring to the table?
Now, if anybody asks you that, woman, man, whatever, drop them. I hate that question, because it's like, why are you asking me that? What? Like, huh? You know, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, if you just don't bring nothing to the table, then, you know, maybe you should just be quiet. I will be quiet, and I will silently exit you, and I will go find somebody who doesn't ask that question, okay? I hate that question with a passion, because it just reiterates the whole, like, what can you do for me? You know, what are you gonna give me? instead of like how are we gonna build together. And it's been, y'all, I'm not gonna say it's been tough, but it's been tough. Okay, for all y'all who are already in a relationship, God bless you. Okay, God bless. Okay, God bless. It's just been very, I'm okay. I am guilty of saying like, oh, like I want to meet people, but have I been going out? No. No, I have not been going out, and I am guilty of that. I am very guilty of that. And you know, your girl's trying. Your girl really is, she trying, okay? I will say, like, the last couple of times that I've been actively dated someone and I've been getting to know someone, there wasn't this je ne sais quoi of like I wanna build with you, like I wanna see a future with you. And you know, like I've been open, and you know, there are things that I have compiled that, you know, are non-negotiables for me, so I'm not breaking that. But it just hasn't been like nothing has stick to the point where it's like, okay, like I want to further to get to know you. I want you in my life a little bit longer, you know, outside of this whole dating scene. And nothing has really sparked me, and that's the thing. Like I haven't got over the talking phase, and that's another thing. Talking phase should last 3 months. Argue with your mama, argue with somebody else. Talking phase should only last 3 months, if that. You know, I know quite a lot of people who they've gotten relationships within the first 2 months, and they just knew, you know. And I know everyone has like their own timeline and things that they prefer and all of that, but you know, it shouldn't take you that long to figure out, okay, I want to date this person, or I want to be just exclusive to this person. But anywho, I digress. You know, don't fight with your mama. Don't fight with me. Thank you. If you don't like it, fight with your mama, okay? I'm sorry. Fight with your mama. With your mama, okay? But yeah, the state of the dating world now, it has been a little bit more trickier because we are fighting, you know, the nuances of men with microphones and the whole modern women can't do this, modern women, or, you know, alpha male, and the whole like, oh, but my man does this for me. Why does your man do that? You know, the whole comparison, or, you know, what we see on social media. We are fighting the shackles. We are still chained to the shackles of those things. And I really had to just tell myself, like, not everybody thinks like this. Yes, it can be posted on social media. Yes, you know, people are going to say this because, you know, that's just their platform or whatever the case may be. But it's also like, not everybody thinks like this. There was a podcast that I've been really enjoying as of lately. It is called Nice and Neat. And there are 3 men on there who talk about, you know, relationships and finances. Of course, they do talk about relationships, but they talk about finances, and they talk about a lot of things, you know, and it's nice to hear like a conversation, a healthy conversation through Black men. And it's refreshing. If you guys have not heard about Nice and Neat, they are on YouTube, Spotify, I think Apple Music, Revolt, I think. I really like listening to him because it just gives me a breath of fresh air, just hearing Black men in general. Obviously I have my friend group, and, you know, I do have Black men in my life, and, you know, with them, like, just being able to hear how they speak and seeing other people who have a platform speak like that is definitely refreshing. It gives me hope back into humanity. It really does. And there was a podcast that they did. This is like an old, I think I'll have it linked down below for you guys, but it was an old podcast episode. They talked about a good woman versus the right woman. They're talking in the perspective of men. So I did take it as perspective as a woman, and I do feel that a lot of the points that they contributed to the conversation, definitely I took that and related to myself as a woman. And I really enjoyed the conversation. If you guys ever have a chance to listen, make sure you guys check out Nice and Neat podcast. I really enjoyed them. I am going to talk in the perspective as a woman. A lot of us women, we know a lot of good men. We do. We know a lot of good men. We could potentially see ourselves with these good men. But that does not make that the right man for you. And through the conversation that they were having in the podcast, that's what they were dissecting. And, you know, what makes that person the right person for you is that they just get you. There are things that, you know, yes, a good woman will do for you, but the right woman will take you to a place of like elevation and take you to a place of, you know, learning and getting you to see outside of the box, you know. And it made me really think like, yes, I know a lot of good men in my life. You know, everyone has flaws. I know a lot of good men, and it just made me really think like, yes, like that is a topic that needs to be talked about, you know. And just because they are a good person does not necessarily mean that that has to be the person that you end up with. And they didn't talk about settling in this episode, but it made me think about like when people settle for a good person. It's like, yes, that person can be good to you. Yes, they can be good to you, but that does not mean that that is your person. And it just had me thinking about myself and reflecting on certain things that certain people that I had in my life. And, you know, it made me think about like, okay, like I don't necessarily need to settle for this person because yes, they are a good person, but that doesn't mean that it makes them the right person. And just kind of I don't want to say elevate, but it elevated the way I think about who am I deciding to further relationship with. Somebody that, yes, I know they're a good person. Just because they're a good person, that doesn't necessarily mean that they actually, like, they match your, they match your stilo. Like, you know, and it made me definitely reevaluate some things. And I just think that it was a good conversation to have, especially since we're in a time where, you know, a lot of times there are people who are, you know, just like, oh, I want this, I want that. And, you know, and there are some people who don't know what to look for. So they do settle for the whole, like, the next best thing. And it's like, no, I should settle for the best. Not for the next best thing, but for the best. You know, and it also made me think about the whole like scarcity mindset when it comes to dating. It's like, oh, well, you know, I'm coming across this good guy, but, you know, there's not that many good guys out there, and I don't want to miss the opportunity to be with a good guy. And it's like, yeah, but the person that's right for you will find you, you know. Just because they are good doesn't mean that's the right person for you. So yeah, the state of dating has been a little troubling. I have recently been more into meeting like people face to face rather than meeting people through online. The dating apps, to be honest, are trash. I do believe because I have shifted my mindset of, oh, this person looks good or they look like a good person, it has definitely transformed me into being a little bit more pickier. Not even pickier, being more diligent on who I'm deciding to be in my space and who I'm deciding to give my time to. Because before I'd be like, oh, well, this person, all right, let's just test it out. Now it's like, if I don't really feel something for you, I'm not going to pursue it, you know. And of course, sometimes you may need a little bit longer to obviously get to know the person, but no longer keeping things that I realize like, okay, like it's just not gonna work, you know. It's not gonna work. And not prolonging a talking phase. You guys let me know how you guys dating. Like, are you guys meeting people in person? Are you guys doing online? Like, how's the dating world for you guys? Because I know for me, it's a work in progress. I do still think that there are good people out there. You just gotta find them. You really just gotta find them and change your mindset. The last thing I did want to touch on is something that I've been coming across recently through like social media and, well, social media, that's the topic. So just filtering out a lot of the accounts that I would compare myself to. Like, I remember I would compare myself to this one girl. We're about the same age, and, you know, I'm like, oh, like, she's doing that, why can't I do that too? And why am I not getting as much success as she's getting? And I had to really tell myself, like, no, you need to get off of this, get off of Blue Ivy's internet, get off of Instagram, and stop comparing yourself. And it made me really think about, like, okay, what am I, like, is this feeding into me, or is this taking away from me? And I've definitely I've definitely been filtering what I've been allowing to enter into my presence, as far as like what I see on social media, what I listen to, what I eat, what I wear, as you guys know, but most definitely I'm a person who loves listening to music. And I came across this Instagram video where it was saying, I think it was like a reels, and it was just saying, you know, make sure you guys be careful about what you're listening to, because if you're trying to avoid, you know, sex, why listen to music that's going to entice you? Or if you're trying to avoid, like, you know, drugs and alcohol, why listen or watch things that are going to feature those things in that? And I had to really tell myself, okay, like, let's start to filter these things out. I used to follow like certain people on Instagram, and I would compare myself and realize, like, I had to really take myself out of the trance of, like, this is not your life. And what they show on Instagram or what they show on their social media does not necessarily mean that this is exactly true. It can be true, but they're choosing to pick what they want to show you guys. You know, they're only going to show you guys the positive. I have been doing my due diligence and really making sure that I filter out things that just don't serve me anymore, and filtering in things that are like putting like an air purifier, basically, you know, putting things in that are going to serve me and taking things out that are not going to serve me. And I do set myself on a limit on when it comes to social media, because I'm telling you guys can go down a rabbit hole. TikTok, I do like scrolling through TikTok because my TikTok is not filled with toxic things. I don't really follow drama pages or follow things that are just like controversial. I mainly follow a lot of like fitness content, as well as a lot of Haitian TikToks, because that just feeds into me and I know who I am, and obviously you guys know I'm Haitian, so that's just that. But make sure you guys are being careful on what you guys are filtering into your lives, because I'm telling you, the spirit will definitely creep up on you and you don't even know it. You're sitting there just thinking about something. You may be just sitting there enjoying your little life, and then next you know, you're thinking about something that you had no business thinking about. Like, no business. I'm telling you firsthand, it happens a lot. So just be careful on what you guys are, like, be careful on what you guys are bringing into your spirit. Definitely be careful. I want to do my lip. It's in the shade Club Hopper. That's pretty. And I'm gonna do, I'm thinking I might do I threw away Abu Dhabi. I think I might just do like a clear gloss. I'm gonna take my e.l.f. gloss. I recently got this, so I'm just gonna take my clear gloss from e.l.f., the lip lacquer. I used to be obsessed with these, and just gonna apply some right here. I don't really feel like I'm getting a lot. There we go. Yes. And this is the look. So I'm gonna go ahead and put on my dress, curl my hair real quickly, and then we're gonna close out this video. All right, guys, so I've already put on my dress and curled my hair a little bit. It's not too big curls, but it's like very like wavy-esque. I just wanted the ends to be a little wavy instead of being straight. Your girl is running a little behind, but that's okay, because, you know, we're gonna make it to church on time. But I want to go ahead and close out this video. Please let me know in the comment section down below what you guys thought about what I said. If you guys have any comments or just want to have a discussion down below, let's go ahead and talk down below. Hit me up. I am definitely up for discussion. Let me know how you guys feel about these topics, or any topics that you guys have been having on your mind, or anything that you guys want to see me talk about. Let me know in the comment section down below. Please do not forget to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Most of the people that tune into my channel are not subscribers, so it helped me a lot if you guys go ahead and subscribe. If you got to this point of the video, thank you so much. I really enjoy keeping you guys company, you know. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.